Hey, this is Nat, and we're off our couch in Pensacola, Florida, the westernmost city in the Florida Panhandle, about to make another lighthouse climb. We have 177 steps to reach the top of the Pensacola Lighthouse, which is also the tallest lighthouse on the Gulf Coast. The Pensacola Lighthouse is located on Naval Air Station Pensacola, along with the National Naval Aviation Museum, which we'll also be visiting. We'll actually be visiting a lot of different spots here in the Florida Panhandle and also Gulf Shores, Alabama. So if you're interested in this area, keep getting off the couch with us. And if you're new to our channel, welcome and please subscribe. So since this lighthouse is located on Naval Air Station Pensacola, civilians can enter the West Gate on Blue Angel Parkway to reach the lighthouse or the National Naval Aviation Museum. And there are ID requirements and other regulations. So I will add the website in the description box for all of the details. And since the lighthouse is on the Naval Air Station, there are discounts for members of the military, of course. There are also senior discounts. So our tour of the lighthouse does start on the grounds. And this is a historic lighthouse, so the grounds are also historic. And we learned that immediately at the carriage house. Well, this used to be the carriage house where they would house horse-drawn carriages and equipment. Now this is the visitor center where you can purchase your admission and the museum shop. And this is the well, which most likely dates back to the year 1856, the sign states. At first, the keeper and the family had to use a bucket and rope to retrieve water from this well. Later, a pulley was used to retrieve the water. I like how they have these pictures on the informational sign showing what the property looked like way in the past. And here are a set of pulleys that we can give a try and imagine ourselves drawing water from the well. Around the property, there are cute cutouts too of assistant keepers to point out details for the little ones. I'm enjoying all the details that the assistant keepers are pointing out as well though. Important to any historical structure is an idea of what was going on in the area and sometimes even the world during that time. And within the oil shed where the oil was stored, since keeping it inside the tower was a fire hazard, there is also a Cosgrove winch, which I believe was used at the quarantine station on Santa Rosa Island. Ships were being quarantined during the 19th century due to yellow fever, which was devastating coastal cities here in America. And there's a lot of details on these signs about yellow fever and the major effects of this disease and how it was affecting other coastal cities during that time period. There are other historical aspects of this property that's highlighted as well as hands-on activities. But we'll go ahead and head inside the museum now. So the museum is the former keeper's quarters, and there is an attachment added to the keeper's quarters that connects the home to the lighthouse tower. And we want to pay attention to the sign right across from the keeper's quarters beside the adorable assistant keeper, because this tells us some important details about this lighthouse, including its distinguishing features. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and head into the Holly and Jolly Museum, perfectly decorated for the holidays. The rooms within the museum are staged, and I believe this TV is showing information about Pensacola in general, since it is talking about the Naval Air Station. There is a table also donated by the grandchildren of one of the lighthouse keepers, which I find very interesting, and a recipe for chicken and oyster gumbo passed down by the wife of a former light keeper. There are a number of really cool exhibits within this museum too, and each room teaches something about the lighthouse or the city of Pensacola. We now are in what is designed to be the hull of the USS Constitution. This is the knee of the USS Constitution, also known as Old Ironsides, and it is the world's oldest commissioned naval warship afloat, known for its victories during the War of 1812, defeating 4 British frigates. Live oak lumber from Pensacola was shipped to Boston for repairs of the USS Constitution, and when the knee of the ship was replaced, they donated it to Pensacola. How cool is that? What a remarkable connection. I had no idea Boston and Pensacola had that in common. I would love to visit the USS Constitution in Boston also. If you've toured the ship, tell us in the comments below. That part of the exhibit explains Pensacola's lumber industry and the city's role in shipbuilding, and in this part part of the exhibit, we learned about the fishing industry in this area, which is staged as a downtown Pensacola fishing warehouse. I'm also really impressed with this history of illumination room and all the information about Fresnel lenses. This is a full-scale replica of a fourth order Fresnel lens. The Fresnel lens was invented by Augustin John Fresnel, and we can play with the invention and see how different portions of the lens collect, bend, and direct the light. And here we get up close and personal with the Winslow Lewis lens. This is actually a replica and designed to look like the first lamps that were placed in the first lighthouse in Pensacola. The light is stronger, the sign says, if we look at it this way. My daughter's trying to blind me as she rapidly turns the light on and off. Perfect time to climb a lighthouse, huh? Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. Here are our climbing instructions. Did you join us off the couch for last video's climbing adventure in St. Simons Island, Georgia at St. Simons Lighthouse? If so, thank you for making the climb with me. And you may recall that that lighthouse did not have any height restrictions. This one does. You do have to be 44 inches tall, or at least the age of 7, and you do have to have the right shoes on also. No open back shoes are allowed, or you have to walk barefoot up the steps until you reach the catwalk. And here's something interesting. All of the lighthouses in Florida, some of these are not open to the public. We've actually been outside the Sanibel Island Lighthouse, and that one is not open to the public. So we'll see how many of these lighthouses will actually get to climb. On to this climb though. Hopefully this is not the time of the year when we have to be concerned about wasps and bees. Climbing 177 steps is enough of a cardio workout. Waving off wasps and bees as you're climbing 177 steps, way too much of a workout. I am leading in the front. The kids are in the middle, and London is heading up the back. As the instructions recommend, kids are supposed to be in the middle. The last lighthouse we climbed, the St. Simons Lighthouse in Georgia, I was just talking about, the kids in London didn't do the whole part of it with me. As I climbed, the kids in London explored around the lighthouse and the pier. But the kids are feeling brave today and ready to climb this lighthouse. So I was confused when I first saw this rest area. I thought maybe we're supposed to step into this area. Some people are stepping in. I am seeing people sit in the area too, which I think is a lot easier, except if someone is still climbing the steps, because there's nothing to really hold on to if someone is sitting there. I got lucky. Someone was sitting down in that area as I was climbing down the steps, and the gentleman offered me his hand to help me balance as I continued to go down. So I got lucky. If not for that, I don't know if I'd be here at this point to retell this story. The steps are numbered, but I'm not exactly sure what step we're on. I believe about 60. They're kind of hard to see, the numbers, while we're walking up the lighthouse. But it is just us guys. London and the kids have retreated. The height was a bit too much for my son, and my daughter just couldn't stop looking down. But they did try it out. They checked it out to see if there's an experience that they would like. And I'd love to hear your feelings about lighthouses. Are you a fan? Are you a bit hesitant but need to take in that view from the top? Or are you a hang out on the grounds and check the lighthouse from there type of visitor? Let us know in the comments. I am here for the views, and I love taking pictures in the stairwell too. One of my favorite parts about climbing the lighthouses. So here we go, guys. We're taking on the remaining 177 steps, and it actually gets worse because look at this opening. We have to squeeze through this gap, and it's not that big. I hope you all can get an idea about this space that I'm working with right now. So once I squirm through this opening, look at this. We can actually see the lens moving. So cool. And we do have to squeeze, another squeeze, by the lens to get out on the walkway. I'm taking 2 deep, big breaths right now while walking out on this walkway. First one is because of the view. This view does not disappoint. Definitely worth the 177 step climb and those 2 big squeezes. Just beautiful. And my second guess is because of this walkway. Wow, this walkway is narrow. So when you're taking your top of the lighthouse selfie, don't get too fancy. The narrowness of the walkway is actually more stressful to me than how high we're up. I can see the kids hula hooping from up here. Obviously, they recovered from their climbing trauma. They're also going to walk the nature trail that runs behind the lighthouse. Back to this view though, we have to thoroughly appreciate this view. That is Fort Pickens right across from us, a fort built in 1834 to defend Pensacola Bay and the Pensacola Navy Yard and Depot from attacks. We can see Pensacola Beach to the left. Check out the high rises. We can also see downtown Pensacola from way up here. There's also Fort Barrancas, and we can see the National Naval Aviation Museum, the Military and Aerospace Museum that's also located at Naval Air Station Pensacola that I was talking about earlier in the video. And we'll be visiting that museum in an upcoming video. That place is amazing. The beach in front of the lighthouse is private, and the attendant at the top of the lighthouse is pointing all these sites out and telling me all about them and reminding me that this is the tallest lighthouse on the Gulf, which means from Brownsville, Texas to Dry Tortugas. Now, when I think of the Gulf, my mind is fixated on Florida, which just means I need to get off the couch more. Hearing the range is exciting. It makes me want to travel more and see more of the Gulf. This lighthouse is 150 feet tall. So while we're in the air identifying the sites that are below us, let's talk about the identifying factors of this lighthouse, because as the sign read before we went into the keeper's quarters in the museum, lighthouses have two identifying features to help navigators pinpoint their position, which was especially useful before GPS and navigational aids. The light is one feature. The Pensacola Lighthouse has a flash of white light every 20 seconds to distinguish this lighthouse from other lighthouses. And the color, the second feature. The lighthouse tower is white on the bottom third, and the top 2/3 is black. The black was actually added in 1869 to help the lighthouse stand out against a cloudy sky. And did you know that the Blue Angels, the Navy's Flight Demonstration Squadron, their headquarters is at NAS Pensacola, so you can actually purchase tickets to stand here right at the lighthouse on this walkway and watch a Blue Angels performance. Now that would be an incredible way to watch a show. Well, this marks another lighthouse explored and another lighthouse climbed. What did you all think about this lighthouse? Have you climbed this lighthouse before? Do you have plans to? If you found this video helpful with your planning, please hit the thumbs up button. And this is even a great lighthouse to visit if you don't want to or you're unable to climb. The grounds are so informative and interesting, and the museum is really well done with a lot to check out. Those are our thoughts and opinions. We want to hear what you think though, and we love to hear all about any future plans that you have for visiting Pensacola. As I said before, we have more adventures and more videos coming up in Pensacola, but next video, new videos come out each and every Saturday. We're going to be getting into the holiday spirit next video, and we'll be visiting what National Geographic has named one of the top 10 holiday light displays in the world, and that's Nicer Lights in St. Augustine, Florida. So we will be in Northeast Florida next video, checking out the millions of lights, of course, plus all of the holiday magic this charming city has to offer. And we'll also talk about enjoying this one-of-a-kind holiday event beyond the lights. So don't be a Grinch. Subscribe if you yet to do so. Keep joining us off the couch, and to have travel tips, hacks, and inspiration delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for our monthly newsletter at offourecouch.com. The sign-up link is also in the description box. And as always, thanks so much for getting off the couch with us on this adventure and climbing to the top of the Pensacola Lighthouse for these spectacular views. Thanks for all the likes, comments, shares, suggestions, and feedback. Your participation and your support makes these adventures possible, so thank you so very, very much. Until next week, click on the video to see another one of our experiences. Thanks for watching.